Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Vagishadhyas Sumanasas Sarvarthanam Upakrame Yannatva Kritakrityas Yastannamami Gajananam Sharada Sharadam Bhojavadana Vadanam Bhuje Sarvada Sarvadasmakam Sannidhim Kriyat Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Namo Narasimhaya Vajradamshtraya Vajrine Vajradehaya Vajraya Namo Vajranakhaya Cha वागर्थाविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्थप्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ शास्त्राभ्यपारदृश्वानं संगहीनं तपोनिधिं भजे श्रीभारती तीर्थगुरुं भद्रौ भदायकं विद्याविनयसम्पन्नं वीतरागं विवेकिनं वन्दे वेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञं विधुशेखरभारतीं श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् Class, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Srimate Shankararya Dhimate Bhutashaktaye Namostvadvaita Siddhanta Sthapanopattamurtaye. So let us go through telling the first three shlokas and then we'll do the fourth one again. Vedo Nityamadhiyatam Taduditam Karmasvanushthiyatam Teneshasya Vidhiyatam Apachitihi Kamye Matistyajyatam Papaughah Paridhuyatam Bhavasukhe Doshonusandhiyatam Atmechhavyavasiyatam Nijagrahat Turnam Vinirgamyatam Sangasatsu Vidhiyatam Bhagavato Bhaktirdradhadhiyatam Shantyadif Parichiyatam Dridhataram Karmashu Santyajyatam Sadvidvanupasevyatam Pratidinam Tatpaduka Sevyatam Brahmaikaksharamardhyatam Shruti Shiro Vakyam Samakarnyatam Vakyarthascha Vicharyatam Shruti Shiraf Pakshas Samashriyatam Dustarkat Suviramyatam Shruti Matastarko Nusandhiyatam Brahmasmiti Vibhavyatam Aharahar Garvah Parityajyatam Deheham Matirujyatam Budhajanairvadah Parityajyatam. Lasya. Kshudvyadhishcha chikitsyatam
Kshudvyadhishcha chikitsyatam
Pratidinam bhikshaushadham bhujyatam
Pratidinam bhikshaushadham bhujyatam
Kshudvyadhishcha chikitsyatam Pratidinam bhikshaushadham bhujyatam
Kshudvyadhishcha chikitsyatam Pratidinam bhikshaushadham bhujyatam Kshudvyadhishcha chikitsyatam Pratidinam bhikshaushadham bhujyatam
Swadvannam natuyachyatam
Swadvannannatuyachyatam
Vidhivashat praptena santushyatam
Vidhivashat praptena santushyatam
Swadvannam natuyachyatam Vidhivashat praptena santushyatam
Swadvannannatuyachyatam Vidhivashat praptena santushyatam Swadvannannatuyachyatam Vidhivashat praptena santushyatam
Shitoshnadivishahyatam
Shitoshnadivishahyatam
न तु वृथा वाक्यं समुच्चार्यताम्
न तु वृथा वाक्यं समुच्चार्यताम् न तु वृथा वाक्यं समुच्चार्यताम्
शीतोष्णादिविषह्यताम् न तु वृथा वाक्यं समुच्चार्यताम्
शीतोष्णादिविषह्यताम् न तु वृथा वाक्यं समुच्चार्यताम् शीतोष्णादिविषह्यताम् न तु वृथा वाक्यं समुच्चार्यताम्
औदासीन्यमभीप्स्यताम्
औदासीन्यमभीप्स्यताम् औदासीन्यमभीप्स्यताम्
जनकृपानैष्ठुर्यमुत्सृज्यताम्
जनकृपानैष्ठुर्यमुत्सृज्यताम् जनकृपानैष्ठुर्यमुत्सृज्यताम्
औदासीन्यमभीप्स्यताम् जनकृपानैष्ठुर्यमुत्सृज्यताम्
औदासीन्यमभीप्स्यताम् जनकृपानैष्ठुर्यमुत्सृज्यताम् औदासीन्यमभीप्स्यताम् जनकृपानैष्ठुर्यमुत्सृज्यताम् क्षुद्व्याधिश्च चिकित्स्यताम् प्रतिदिनं भिक्षौषधं भुज्यताम् स्वाद्वन्नं तु याच्यताम् विधिवशात् प्राप्तेन सन्तुष्यताम् शीतोष्णादिविषह्यताम् न तु वृथा वाक्यं समुच्चार्यताम् औदासीन्यमभीप्स्यताम् जनकृपानैष्ठुर्यमुत्सृज्यताम्.
Good. So let us quickly recap what we did last class. So we talked about the shastric procedure that Bhagavad Pada expects the sadhaka to go through. So doing, vakyartha vichara, and then, doing the logic solve properly, refraining from dustarka, which is not in line with Upanishads, and then doing shruti matastarkaha, doing tarka, which is in line with shruti. Then contemplating or trying to understand that one is Brahman, that Brahmasmiti vibhavyatam aharaha, and then garvav parityajyatam, to get rid of the ego of knowership, and then dehe ahammatihi ujjatam, to relinquish I-ness, or to let go of I-ness within the body and the mind, and then buddhajanair vadaha parityajyatam, may you not argue with wise people, may you not get into arguments and debates. So now these explanations, or these commands in this one, right, all the lot lakaras that are coming here, the chikitsyatam, bhujyatam, vyachyatam, santushyatam, all of these are intended for sannyasins, but there are ways that we also can apply these. So we will talk about both of those again today. So just generally, as we said, the first, the padacheda, kshut vyadhihi cha. Some people take it as kshut vyadhihi as one word. Kshut vyadhi has two separate words. Some people take. So kshut vyadhihi cha chikitsyatam pratidinam bhikshaushadham bhujyatam. So again, there some people take bhikshaushadham is one thing. Bhikshaushadham bhujyatam swadvannam na tu yachyatam vidhivashat praptena santushyatam shitoshnadi vishahyatam na tu vritha vakyam samucharyatam audasinyam abhipsyatam janakripa naishturyam utsrijyatam. So that is the padacheda. Kshud vyadhishcha chikitsyatam. Chikitsa is the medicinal treatment. So may you treat the disease that is called hunger, is one meaning. That is the simpler meaning that we'll take for now. May you treat the disease that is called hunger, and for that sake, pratidinam, every day, bhikshaushadham bhujyatam. May you take the medicine called bhiksha, right, the alms that you get from begging. Swadvannam natu yachyatam. May tasty food not be sought after, not be asked for. Vidhivashat praptena santushyatam. May you be content with whatever you get by fate's will. Shitoshnadi vishahyatam. May you forbear or may you tolerate the dualities like hot and cold, etc. Natu vrithavakyam samucharyatam. May a futile sentence not be uttered. So basically, do not speak for no reason. May you not speak for no reason. Audasinyam abhipsyatam. May you seek equanimity. May you seek an unbiased mindset. May you seek equanimity. Jana kripa naishtaryam utsrujyatam. Kripa is mercy. Naishtaryam is cruelty. So may you let go of both pity and cruelty towards people. Okay, so that is the kind of the quick cut and dry meaning. Now this one's a much lighter than yesterday's shloka, so don't worry there. Kshud vyadhishcha chikitsyatam. So the way some people take this is, if you take it as kshutcha vyadhishcha chikitsyatam, then the way anvaya happens is kshut chikitsyatam vyadhishcha chikitsyatam. So may you treat your hunger, may you also treat your diseases. And for that sake, may you take bhikshaushadham. Either, so first let me show the anvaya in both sthalas. So if you take it as kshud vyadhi, so treat the disease that is called hunger. So treat the disease known as hunger. For that sake, take the medicine known as bhiksha. So if hunger is a disease, then bhiksha is the medicine. In the other sthala, if you take it as kshutcha vyadhishcha, if you take, treat your hunger and treat whatever illnesses you have, then in this bhikshaushadham, you have to take samaharadanda. Bhikshacha aushadhancha bhikshaushadham is how you have to take it. So to treat your hunger and to treat your sickness, take bhiksha and take medicine. So why is Bhagavad Pada mentioning this here? So in the aforementioned shloka, right, after you do all the shastra vichara, what did Bhagavad Pada say in the end? Lose the feeling of I-ness in the body. So the worry is, once you say stop thinking that you are the body, start thinking that you are Brahman, the worry is that the sadhaka will stop caring about the body, right? If I'm not this body, why do I care about it? This is not me, right? There's a story about Sadashiva Brahmendra, very great yogi and sannyasi. His songs, of course, are world-renowned. They're very beautiful. But there's a story that he was walking. He did not do namaskaram to some king or something. The king got angry, cut off his arm, and Sadashiva Brahmendra just kept walking. So, once you get to that state, you do not care about your body, right? We also see that Ramana Maharshi used to refer to his body as this. Like if he was hungry, he used to say, yeah, this is hungry. Or when he got cancer, and it hurt, when the tumor hurt, he used to say, yeah, this hurts. He didn't even say, it hurts me. He says, this hurts, this being the body. So once you get to that state, there is kind of a dissociation from the body for the utmost avadhuta sannyasis. But the worry is that the sadhaka, in attempting to train the mind to not think of himself as the body, but think of himself as the atma, the worry is that they will not take care of themselves, right? So Shariramadhyam khalu dharma sadhanam is a line from Kalidasa's Kumara Sambhava. Shiva himself tells this to Parvati when he is asking her how her tapas is going. He says, are you looking after your body? Because Shariram Adhyam Dharma Sadhanam. The Sharira is the number one means to do anything good. Either to do Jnana Sadhana or to do, karma or to do upasana. For whatever you need to do, the body is the number one thing. If, you're sick or your stomach hurts or your head hurts or, your head is spinning or you're about to faint or you feel like throwing up or something, how will you do any sadhana after that? You cannot focus. So to make sure that the body is healthy, make sure that you are eating. Make sure that you're taking care of any diseases that come to the body. The body should not be neglected, is what Acharya is telling the sadhaka here. So health should never be sacrificed for the sake of some extra sadhana, right? Obviously, there is a limit to which we can inconvenience ourselves a little bit, in the sense that, if we have not had much sleep, yeah, we can wake up a bit earlier if we need to wake up in the morning and then sleep later. That is fine. But if it's something like, you have a medical condition or something, that is what you need to look after. So Bhagavad Pada is saying, do not forget that the body needs to be taken care of for you to do well in your sadhana. You're not taking care of the body for the sake of the body, though. So the thing is, do not coddle the body because you identify with the body. Look after the body insofar that it does not prohibit you, or it does not obstruct you from doing the sadhana that you have to do. So look after your body so that it does not prohibit you from doing your sadhana, or so that it does not obstruct you from doing your sadhana. Right? So kshadyadhishta chikitsyatam, therefore treat hunger and sicknesses, and for that sake every day make sure you take bhiksha and aushadham. Now Bhagavad Pada has specified here that it is bhiksha. He did not just say ahara or food or something like that, or ashana or something. Bhiksha is specifically food that is begged for. Now this is why I said this is for sannyasins, because for grahasthas, bhiksha is not really that vihita. Bhiksha is not really recommended for them. But for sannyasins, there are 5 different kinds of bhikshas actually that Shastra has talked about. I'll give you one example. One example that is very common that brahmacharis also usually do is called madhukara vritti. It's called madhukara vritti. So a madhukara is a bee. So what a bee does is it goes to a few flowers, but it does not suck up the nectar from all of the flowers. It only takes a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. So what a madhukara vritti does is you go to 3, 5 or 7 houses, and that is it. And that too, you need to avoid houses that you know are in trouble. So let's say there is some one grahastha is going through tough times, or I don't know, there is another house does not have much food right now. You should not go to those houses. You can go to 3, 5 or 7 houses, and whatever you find there is what you're supposed to eat. So that is called madhukara vritti. So things like this, there are several types of bhiksha that the sannyasin is supposed to do, which is why sannyasins are called bhikshukas. Bhikshu or bhikshuka is another word for sannyasin. This is also vihita for brahmacharis, because if the brahmachari sits in his dorm room the way we college students do these days, making this delicious food and that cuisine and this dish and that dish, then the study goes out the window. So for brahmacharins and sannyasins, bhiksha is what is told, right? So the bhiksha aushadham bhujyata, may you do bhiksha. But it is one thing to beg for food. You should not go begging, can I have masala dosa today? Can I have vada today? Can I have bhaji today? Can I have bonda today? Do not ask for swadvanam. Do not ask for good food. Like when you ask, food is only so that the body does not fall. So your food is to only make sure that the body is running. So do not go to luxuries when you are looking for the food. Whatever they give, just eat that and move on. Swadvannam natu yachyatam. Do not ask for swadu annam. Swadu means tasty. Do not ask for tasty food. But vidhivashat praptena santushyatam. Vidhi means fate. By fate's will, vidhivashat, by fate, praptena, with whatever you get, santushyatam. Be content. So do not ask for good food. Be content with whatever you give, whatever that those grahasthas give you. There is another. So this is the vigraha for vidhivashat praptena santushyatam. Vidhivashat, due to fate, praptena, with that which you have received, santushyatam. Be happy, be content. There is another way of interpreting this, that the interpreting this that the Vyakhyakas have shown. Vidhivashat prapte na santushyatam, which is very interesting, because they are saying with whatever you get, do not be content. Okay, so vidhivashat prapte, this is sati saptami. So vidhivashat prapte means once prapte sati, once you have gotten something due to fate's will, na santushyatam, do not be content. So what this means in this case is, once you have gotten the food, do not relax for the day. Okay, this day is done, I can eat, so I can be nischala for the rest of the day. Do not be that way. Once you have gotten your food, do not be content with your day's work. Remember that you still have more sadhana and more work to do. So that is the other way. Vidhivashat prapte, although whatever fate has given you for that day has been obtained, na santushyatam. Do not become content that you have done whatever you need to do that day. There is still more to do, more to search for, etc., etc. So vidhivashat prapte na santushyatam, or vidhivashat praptena, with whatever food that fate gives you for that day, santushyatam. Be happy. Shitoshnadi vishahyatam. Forbear. Sahate. Sahate means to tolerate. And then once you get the V, because there is an ikara in the upasarga, the sakara gets shakara. So vishahyatam. Shitoshnadi vishahyatam. So tolerate. May all the dualities such as shita, coldness, cold, ushna, hotness, right? May all that be tolerated. We talked about this. This is what we call in the titiksha, right? We said in the shamadhamadi shatka sampatti, in the 6 qualities Kshama, Dama, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhana. In that we said this is Titiksha, the forbearance of all of these. And then Natu Vrithavakyam Samucharyatam. Right? It is a very hard thing to combine knowledge with being quiet. So, which is why Kalidasa says in Raghuvamsha, right? He talks about the kings. Jnane maunam kshama shaktau tyage shlagha viparyaha guna 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 gunanubandhitvat tasya saprasava iva. So he says for Dilipa, all his qualities are twofold. Jnane maunam, he has both jnana and mauna. Kshama shaktau, he has kshama as well as shakti. Tyage shlagha viparyaha, he has both a very generous nature but is not prone to praising himself. So this way, gunanubandhitvat saprasavaha iva. So all his qualities seem to be born in pairs. So these qualities that Kalidasa has listed here are all qualities that generally do not go together. Right? Tyage shlagha viparyeha. As soon as someone gives, the first thing that they wish to do is to publicize that. There's an old joke that some donor installed a ceiling fan in a temple, and he had his name written on the fans. What do they call it? On the limbs of the fan. I forget what they're called. The spokes. I don't think fans have spokes. But he had his name written on the fan. So then he said, please don't turn the fan on because then no one will see my name. Then what use is your donation? So that is not the way that donations should be, right? It is very hard for generosity to be coupled with a distaste for praise or a distaste for publicity. So tyage shlagha viparyeha. In the same way, kshama shaktau. As soon as someone is very strong, their forbearance goes down because they don't have the capacity to retaliate. Earlier, whenever something happened to them, they did not have the strength to retaliate, so they used to be quiet. They used to just forbear that or tolerate that. But now that they have strength, they feel I can do something back. So that is not the way that Dilipa used to be. So he had both Shakti and Kshama. He had both strength, capacity, potential, capability, as well as Kshama, as well as forbearance. In the same way, he had Jnane Maunam. Although he was very well learned, right? Vyomasanskrit sadhanam shastreshva kuntita buddhi. He says he had akuntita buddhi in Shastras. He had unparalleled knowledge of all branches of learning. But yet Mauna, he was able to stay quiet. Right? The second we know something, we feel the need. It is like an itch. We have to contribute to the conversation, whether it is needed or not, whether it is satya or not, whether it is priya or not, whether it is even needed or not, whether it has any use or not, we still feel the need to pipe up and say something. Especially when other people are talking about something that we know very well. Probably one of the hardest things is for someone that is very passionate and knowledgeable about something is to hear an inaccuracy about that subject and keep quiet. For example, if there's a chemist and he hears two students talking, and one of the students says, yes, bromine is a metal, so it is solid at room temperature. How will that chemist stop himself from saying, no, bromine is one of the only two metals in the periodic table that are liquids at room temperature? So that ability to restrain yourself, right? That restraint is very hard when you know something. The reason why we need to, Bhagavad Gita tells us to restrain ourselves from these things is, this leads into the vada, because as soon as we say something, the other person will say something, then we will have to reply to that, then they reply to that. So, it grows from there. The second you insert yourself into conversations, the second you insert yourself to correct another person, you don't know how they will take that. So, and quite frankly, unless you are a guru to some shishya or something, there is no need for you to correct other people. So, what Bhagavad Gita is telling us is, we need to lock our lips if there is nothing that needs to be said. Still speak if you need to, which is why Bhagavad Gita said, Natu vrithavakyam. Do not speak unnecessarily. Natu vrithavakyam samucharyatam. Then audasinyam abhipsyatam. May you desire abhipsyatam. What may be desired? Audasinyam. Audasinyam means udasinasya bhavaha. Audasinyam. Udasina is someone who is unbiased. He does not care one way or the other. Right? So not minding one way or the other. Audasinyam. So being level, being equanimous, being unbiased. These are all the things that go into audasinyam. So basically, what does this mean? do not build up raga dveshas, right? Because if you build up likes and dislikes, that is when you cannot stay neutral. You say, I like this, I do not like this, I want this, I do not want this, this is good, this is bad. So basically stay far away from raga dveshas. And not just that, do not uh, include yourself in groups that have these. So basically do not show groups any favors or disfavors, which is why our acharyas, at least in Sringeri, so far as Sringeri goes, they stay apolitical. The reason why a lot of sannyasis, not just Sringeri of course, but a lot of sannyasis, the reason why they stay apolitical is because of this. There is no use in throwing yourself in with likes and dislikes that are fickle, right? The whims of politicians and the whims of people change on a daily basis. There is no set marga for them. There is a shlokam, Ashwaplutam Vasava Garjitancha Strinancha Chittam Purushasya Bhagyam Devo na janati kuto manushyaha. So the shlokam goes, there are some things in this world that even Bhagavan does not know how they will be at any given state. What more than will humans know? Ashwaplutam, when a horse will suddenly start running. Vasava Garjitancha, when the clouds will thunder. Strinancha Chittam, I mean, they said strees then, but these days it's humans in general. The way a person's mind may change. Purushasya Bhagyam, the way a person's fortunes may turn. Even Bhagavan does not know. These things all happen so randomly and erratically. Kuto manushya, how will humans know? So if we base our identities and our workings in society based on these fickle things that are given to change and also for no good reason, we will find ourselves drawn out into a lot of unnecessary chit-chat again. So all of these if you look at this whole shloka, you will see that this is all devoted to things that can draw our focus away from our sadhana. That is all the things that could do that Bhagavad Pada is telling us to not do here. So, if your body is weak, that will draw you away from sadhana. So look after your body. If you run after good food, that will draw you away from sadhana. So don't do that. If you are not happy with whatever food you have gotten, that will distract you from sadhana. So be happy with whatever you get. If you're overly perturbed by hot and cold, anger and sorrow, by all of those, then that will distract you from your sadhana. So do not do that. Natu vritha vakyam samucharyatam. If you say things unnecessarily, you will get into unnecessary conversations, useless conversations. So do not speak like that. Audasinyam epipsyadam. Be neutral. Do not get involved in things that you have nothing to do with. Do not get involved in things that force you to choose sides. And in the end, Jana kripa naishtaryam utsrajyatam. May you let it go. What? Jana kripa naishtaryam. Janeshu kripa ja naishtaryancha jana kripa naishtaryam. That is the Vigraha Vakya. So kripa and naishtarya, that is displayed towards the janas. So kripa is mercy, we said. Naishtaryam is cruelty. Right? Kind of like the Brahma Sutra, right? Vaishamya nairghranya sapekshatvat. So ghrana and nairghranya, those two things. Kripa and naishtarya. So do not have compassion or anger towards people. Anger obviously is very easy for us to see how it can draw away from sadhana, right? Kamat sanjayate, kamat krodho bhijayate, and then from that in Gita, right, we have krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibhramaha, smriti bhramshat buddhinashaha, buddhinashat pranashyati. So the sequence Bhagavan gives is, due to sangha, due to attachment with things, you get kama, desire for them. If that desire is not fulfilled, you get krodha. Kamat krodha bhijayate, krodhat bhavati sammoha. Due to that krodha, you kind of go into a madness. Sammohat smriti vibhramaha. Smriti vibhramaha, what Bhagavad Pada writes there in Gita Bhashya is, you forget Shastra and Guru Vakya, right? You forget the things that are supposed to shape your decisions. So, at that point, you forget the things that will help you act in a dharmic way. That just will not come to your mind. So, sammohat smriti vibhramaha smriti bhramshat buddhinashaha. So, your decision making, your power of decision making is completely short. Your power of decision making is completely astray already. And then buddhinashat pranashyati. So you make all the wrong decisions, you commit adharmic activities, and your karma itself then comes back to bite you, and that is the end. So therefore, we can easily see how cruelty and anger towards people should be avoided. But why is kripa supposed to be avoided, right? Mercy is such a good quality. It is one of the atma gunas, right? So why is that supposed to be avoided? The very easy example is the story of Jadabharata in Bhagavata. So there was this king named Bharata, a very great king. He took upon Vanaprastha, left his wife and his sons and kingdom all behind, went off to the forest. His wife could have came with him, but she said, I want to stay in the kingdom. I'm not ready to go to the forest. So he said, okay, you stay behind. Bharata went off to the forest. And he's doing his tapas there very well. Very, very well. He's doing his tapas really well. And then one day, due to some circumstances, like a tiger roars and a pregnant deer just gives birth and dies. So the mother is dead and there is a newborn deer that is a foal, a baby, a calf. And then, so Bharata sees that and he says, how can I leave this being to be? So then he brings it back to his ashrama and nurses it. So this is the kripa. He nurses it, brings it back to life. From there, the attachment with the deer starts. So the tapas has gone. The tapas that he was doing has gone. Did the deer eat? Where is the deer right now? Did the deer go to the bathroom or not? What do I have to do now? The deer is rubbing against me. This is so nice. The deer is sleeping in my lap. Did I feed the deer today? Oh no, the deer did not eat properly today. All of this started coming. So in his last seconds, he thought of the deer. The deer was his worry. And he said in Gita, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tiratyante kalevaram tam tame veti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavitaha. Whatever you think of in your last seconds. Because that is what you have, the strongest chitta samskara that you have is the last samskara that will leave your mind. Right? So the last thing that you think of will be the thing that you think of with the most strength, the thing that your mind thinks of with the most focus. So for him, that ended up being the deer. So because he thought of the deer in his last second, he became born as a deer. So to avoid things like this, do not get overly compassionate towards people. Try to detach yourselves from their problems. Do what you need to do, not what you throw upon yourself. Right? So that is Jana Kripa Naishtarya Mutsrijyatam. So to sum up, Shudvyadhishcha Chikitsyatam. Just take care of your hunger, take care of your take care of whatever health issues you have with your body. For that sake, Pratidinam Bhikshaushadam Bhujyatam. Eat bhiksha and take whatever medicine you have to for your body. Swadvannam natuyachyatam. Do not look for tasty food. Vidhivashat praptena santushyatam. Be content with whatever comes your way. Shitoshnadi vishahyatam. Tolerate the dualities of hot and cold, etc. Natu vrathavakyam samucharyatam. Do not speak unnecessarily. Audasinyam abhipsyatam. Be neutral, be impartial, be unbiased, be unmoved. Jana kripanashtarya mutsrijyatam. Let go of over pity, extra pity, and cruelty towards people. So this is the shloka for today. A much quicker one and a much easier one than I guess the last two. So let us now open it up for any questions you may have. Let us see. Natu vrthavakyam samucharyatam. Yes, vritha is avyayam. That is an avyayam, correct. Vrthavakyam. How to restrain yourself from talking in a family, especially with spouse, parents, and kids. If we don't participate in conversation, how relations will sustain. Also, if we won't correct our family members, then is it okay? Is it not our duty to correct them? It is true. Which is why Bhagavad Pada says, Natu vrthavakyam samucharyatam. Do not speak when there is no use to speak. See, if it is your duty, if the son has done something wrong and it is your duty to correct the child, then it is your duty to speak. So then you have to speak. That vakya is not a vritha vakya. But if there is something, someone said an opinion that is not a particular important one, there is no need to jump in and correct them. Right? So correcting in the sense of correcting when there is no need to insert yourself into a conversation. Right? Or a better example is two unrelated people you are talking about something. There is no need to jump into that conversation. With the family, you have certain duties. So there is no need to speak outside of those duties. Right? So that is what it is with speaking in the family. Okay. So let's look at the chat. Abhipsyatam. So ipsa is desire. Abhipsyatam, to be desired. The blades of the fan. I just saw. Okay. When we say that food needs to be taken like medicine, how much to take and how to take? Can you elaborate on this? So actually, okay, there is a shloka from Shastra that I actually should have remembered. But there is a list of how many morsels in Telugu, what we call a mudda, right? One ball of rice, how much they should eat. It is not an exact list, but just a general rule to go by. 8 morsels for sannyasins, 16 morsels for vanaprasthas, 32 morsels for grahasthas, and 64 morsels for brahmacharis. That is what a shloka says. I can tell you the shloka tomorrow. in class, perhaps, if one of you reminds me. But that is generally how Shastra says. But the way how food to take, what Ayurveda says is, so out of your stomach space, half the stomach needs to be filled with solids. In the remaining, out of what is left, 1/2. So 1/4 total needs to be filled with water, 1/4 needs to be left for air. And also, easiest thing to look at is, if you are not hungry but you are eating, it is a surefire sign that you do not need to eat that. Right? The body does a pretty good job of telling us that. So that is how you can look at that. Abhipsyatam, I answered. Naishturyam. Nishturasya bhavaha. Naishturyam. Shing pratyaya. So it is the quality of being cruel. So naishturya is cruelty. Utsrajyata means may you leave. Utsrajati is to leave. Utsrajyatam, may it be left. So janakrapa naishturyam. May compassion and cruelty towards the people be utsrajyatam. The 5 types of bhiksha. Again, a shloka that I had once known but have forgotten. There are 5 types. I will tell you that next class also. But Madhukara is one of them. These are basically just different ways of asking. One of them, ayachita. Ayachita is another name for one of them. There is one prak siddha or something like that, where food that is already made is consumed over a period of time. So there are 5 types like that. It's just different ways that the food is procured. So in one you do not ask, in one you do ask, in one you go to a certain number of houses to ask, things like that. Those are the 5 types of bhiksha. Kalidasa Shloka to Dilipa. This is I think it should be in the first 20 shlokas of Raghuvamsha. Jnane maunam kshama shaktau tyage shlagha viparyayaha guna gunanubandhitvat tasya saprasavaiva. So tyaga and jnana and mauna, knowledge and silence. Kshama shaktau. Mauna is more so like restraint of speech here, not even just silence. Jnane maunam kshama shaktau, strength and forbearance. Tyage shlagha viparyayaha, generosity. So dana, charity, and shlagha viparyayaha, being averse to praise. Being averse to praise. These are the paired qualities. These 3 paired qualities are what Kalidasa spoke of. Can we chant stotras like Sahasranama bhajans in monthly periods? Can we do Japamala? Okay. During, just to make sure I've understood it, is the monthly period during the Rajasvala Samaya? Is that what you're asking about? Or I'm not sure what that monthly period is. If it's the physical function of the female, then no, okay. So there is so things like mantras should not be done then. Generally, what the rule is for mantras, you need physical shaucha. So generally, you do not do japa then. And then there are some stotras that are like mantras. So kavachas, things like Lalita Sahasranama, things like that. So stotras that are mantratmaka, you do not chant those. Bhajans are fine. Bhajans are fine. And then so basically the line is at mantras. If anything needs physical shaucha, then do that. Else, just general shlokas, normal shlokas and all are okay. There is no limit there. Padacheda and Vyakarana for all 5 shlokas, sure, you can do that. And then if the people themselves give sweet food, is it okay for the sannyasi to take it? Yeah. So that's why he said, right? Do not ask for sweet food. Do not ask for good food. Be happy with whatever you get. So if they give sweet food, good. If they give hot food, fine. If they give tasty food, fine. If the food they forgot to put salt in it, also fine. So take whatever they give. Is it sweet? Is it hot? Is it tasty? Is it not tasty? That is not for the sannyasi to worry about. Although this is said for the sannyasi, if we ourselves inculcate that, it will be very good for us. There is nothing wrong with enjoying food, I guess, in the brahmachari and grahastha states, but it should not be a a madness. It should not be like a goal of life type thing. Okay, in chat. In many ways, is it like the Upanishadic thought? Is it not? Annanna Nindyata Swadhyayat Swadhyayan ma pramadaha Swadhyayan na pramaditavyam. What is the connection with this? Sadhana Panchakam Taittiriya connection. Yes, so there is in Bhriguvalli, you have that section about Annam, right? Annanna Nindyata, Annanna Parichakshita, Annam Bahukurvita. These are all ajnas given to the Grahastha. So Annanna Nindyata, do not ever, because Anna is what is giving us life, right? Anna makes up our Sthula and Sukshma Shariras. So the gross part of Anna, the Sthula part of Anna goes into our Sthula body. The Sukshma part of Anna goes into our Sukshma Sharira, so goes into our mind, which is why Ahara Shaucha is very important for us, because our food influences our mind. So for that reason, Anna is very important, so do not insult it. Do not insult Anna. Never look down upon food. Annam nan Indyata. And then like that, Annam Bahukurvita, right? Make a lot of food. Make sure you have enough food for dana as well. Tasmad yayakayacha vidhaya bahpannam prapnya. Do whatever you have to make sure that you can do the proper danas of food, to make sure that you can make enough food to give to society. So yes, these are all Vedic Vidhis. Anything that Bhagavad Pada says is drawn from Veda. The connection between Sadhana Panchakam and Taittiriya Upanishad, yeah, there are plenty of overlaps in terms of the vidhis given and whatnot. Yes, less food intake or overeating will have effects on the tamo and rajoguna, and sattva gets lowered and whatnot. Yes, of course. And different types of food, right? We have in Gita the types of food that induce each of these gunas and whatnot. That is also there. In Atma Sanyama Yoga, right? He has natyashnatastu yogo asti achaikantam anashnataha nachapi sapnashilasya jagrato neva charchana. So atyashataha yoga nasti. This is not, yoga cannot be practiced, or these sadhanas cannot be done by someone that overeats, nor by someone that barely eats. This is not for someone who is always sleeping or someone who never sleeps, right? So moderation everywhere. Ati sarvatra varchayet. Right? Okay, so we have questions about the Padacheda, and since we have some time, I will just go over the Padacheda for all the shlokas. So for the first shloka, Vedaha nityam adhiyatam. Veda, may it always be studied. Taduditam karma svanushthiyatam. May the karma that is told by the Veda be followed. Tena ishasya vidhiyatam apachitihi. With that, may worship to Ishvara be given. Kamye matihi tyajyatam. May desire towards kamya karmas be given up. Papa ugha paridhuyatam. May the masses of papa be cleansed away. Bhavasukhe doshaha anusandhiyatam. May the flaws of samsara sukha, of worldly comforts, be understood. Atmecha vyavasiyatam. May the desire for Atma be strengthened. Nijagrahat turnam vinirgamyatam. May you immediately leave the house. So here these are all Atmanaha Icha, Atmecha, Nijam Graham, Nijagraham. Like that you can take all the samasas. Sangaha Satsu Vidhiyatam. May attachment be applied towards the good people, towards wise people. Bhagavataha Bhaktihi Dridha Adhiyatam. May firm bhakti of Bhagavan be placed or be done. Shantyadihi Parichiyatam Dridhataram. May the qualities starting with Shanti, so Shamadam and all of those, maybe they be firmly Dridhataram Parichiyatam, acquired. Karma Ashu Santyajyatam. May karma quickly be given up. Sadvidwan Upasevyatam. May a knower of Brahman be approached. Pratidinam Tat Paduka Sevyatam. May his Paduka be served every day. Brahma Ekaksharam Arthyatam. May Brahman, which is one and undecaying, be sought after. Shruti Shiro Vakyam Samakarnyatam. May the words of the Upanishads be heard. Vakyartha Cha Vicharyatam. May the meaning of those Upanishadic statements be maybe they be contemplated. Shruti Shiraf Pakshaha Samashriyatam. May the the holdings of the Upanishad, may the conclusions of the Upanishad be sought after. Dustarkat suviramyatam, may flawed logic be seized from. Shrutimataha tarkaha anusandhiyatam, may the logic that is in line with Veda be applied. Brahma asmi iti vibhavyatam, may I am Brahma, thus may it be thought. Aharaha, every day. Garvaha parityajyatam, may I-ness, namely the I-ness towards knowership be parityajyatam, may it be given up. Dehe ahammatihi ujhyatam, may I-ness in the body be given up. The feeling of I-ness in the body be given up. Budhajanaihi vadaha parityajyatam, may debate or arguments with the wise be given up. And then today's Padacheda we did twice and thrice today. Okay. Okay, I see some of you have raised your hand. So now let me move over to there. Okay, yes. Sir Valluriji, please go ahead. Sir Valluriji, can't hear you.
I'm not able to understand. Kshamidam, Audasinyam abhipsatam. Ipsya means desire. Audasinyam abhipsatam. What does that mean, sir?
So Audasinyam is neutrality. So basically seek desire for neutrality. So desire means like try to get it, basically, right? So may you desire neutrality. May you desire unbiasedness. That is.
Thank you, sir. Second thing is the whatever your recordings are not being uploaded. Actually, one is only
they're in YouTube. They're in YouTube. The first class is there, and the second shloka is also there. The third shloka has not been uploaded yet, but it will be. And as I said, the first shloka needs to be recorded. The chanting class, the first one that we had, and the meaning for the shloka, the second shloka has been uploaded. I think third shloka will be uploaded today. It is there on the YouTube.
Okay, YouTube, but not in the Vyoma, class. Not there. Okay,
yeah, in the teacher interface, I am not able to see which recordings have been posted. So I spoke to the support team. They still need to get back to me about that. But yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bhushanji, please go ahead.
Guruji, the third shloka, if you go, just go to the, if you don't mind.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. So the third sentence, right? Can you explain Brahma Smiti?
Brahma asmi iti vibhavyatam, right? So bhavayati means to feel. Vibhavayati means to feel. Vibhavyatam, may it be felt. What needs to be felt? Brahmasmi iti. That I am Brahman. So that Mahavakya is there. Aham Brahmasmi. So may you feel that I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. So basically, feeling in the sense that it is called nididhyasana, right? You need to apply that statement to yourself. So feel that I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahman is what that is. So vibhavyatam is the karmani prayoga. May it be felt. What is the thing that needs to be felt? Brahmasmi iti.
And then the subsequent, the remaining part also can you explain?
So that aharaha applies to this. So feel that every day. Do that sadhana constantly. Garvaha parityajyatam. Tyajati, parityajati, to let go. Parityajyate, to be let go of. Parityajyatam, may it be let go of. Garvaha parityajyatam, may garva be let go of. So here this garva, as I explained yesterday, is to distinguish it from dehe ahammati. This garva is the I-ness of knowership. So that I am the knower of Brahman rather than I am Brahman, right? Or I am the studying Brahman rather than that is the I-ness that needs to be let go of.
Okay. Dhanyawad.
Devika Raviji.
Namaskara Mahodaya. The fourth shloka, the last line, the meaning Mahodaya.
Audasinyam. Okay, so Udasina means someone who is neutral, one who does not care either way. Audasinyam is that quality of neutrality. Audasinyam is neutrality. So may you seek neutrality, may you desire neutrality. And then Jana Kripa Naishtaryam. Kripa is mercy, Naishtaryam is cruelty. Jana Kripa Naishtaryam, mercy and cruelty towards Janas, mercy and cruelty towards people. May that be Utsrajyatam, may that be let go of, may that be cast off, may that be cast away. So may you seek
why mercy
neutrality.
also Mahodaya?
So in the story I said, right, if you remember the Jadabharata story, where it was his mercy towards the deer that caused him to build a bond with it. He became attached to it. So to avoid attachment, do not see mercy in the sense that unnecessary mercy, right? So I will look after you, I will take care of all your needs, do not worry, whenever you have a problem, come to me. There is no need to take that much pity upon someone. Help them as far as they need to be helped. Do not do anything extra. The motto of a sannyasi is do not do anything you do not need to do. Do not do anything extra. If there is something you do not have to say, do not say it. If there is something you do not have to eat, do not eat it. If there is something you do not have to look at, do not look at it. So in the same way, if mercy is causing you to overreact to things, then that mercy needs to be curbed, right? So any feelings need to be curbed. So that is why kripa needs to be let go of as well for the sannyasi.
Dhanyavada Mahodaya.
Vishahyatam. So sahadhatu, sahate is the dhatu, right? So sodhum, all of these things, right? Sahamana, all of these. So the sahate means to forbear. Bharam sahate, he bears the weight. Bharam sahate. And that sahyate, to be born, right? Born, borne, right? And then vishahyatam. So because V comes, the sa becomes a sha. So sahyatam, vishahyatam. That is the word. Radhika ji.
Hari Om. The Sadhana Panchakam is mainly meant for sannyasis, you said, but there are ways that it can be applied for grahasthas also.
Certainly. That is why we are doing this. And that's why we also said, right? So the complete stotra is this part. It's not really a stotra, I guess. This Panchaka, as you said, the first shloka, right? That is mainly meant for brahmacharis and grahasthas. Then the next shloka is meant for vanaprasthas. Then third and fourth are meant for sannyasis. But as we said, right, there are some of these. So, like for example, bhiksha is only for sannyasis. But curbing the desire for good food, can be done by grahasthas, right? Not speaking unless it is necessary can also be done by grahasthas. Being equanimous, being far from ragadvesha, right? Distancing oneself from ragadvesha can be done by grahasthas. So there are plenty of these that can be applied, and I think every day we have also been talking about which parts of which shloka can be applied to our life as well. Yeah.
So selectively only, it's not completely applicable.
Because
the first word Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam itself is not for ordinary grahastha, especially the uninitiated or those who are not adhikaris for initiation into Veda.
Yeah. So whatever, basically from this, whatever you can follow. What the Sadhana Panchakam does is it tells you what you can do, right? This is what you can do. If you do all this, you will get somewhere. So we as sadhakas need to do however much we can from this. That is the way to approach it. So out of these 8 things in this shloka, how much of this can I do? So, if I can take care of my hunger and my diseases by taking food and aushadhas, so far I can do. Can I take bhiksha? Probably not. Okay, so leave that aside. Can I not have an unnecessary desire for good food? Sure. Can I be content with whatever I get? Yeah. So we can just apply whatever it is to ourselves and see which of these we can do and which of these we can't do. Push ourselves to do that, whatever is possible to be done.
Dhanyavada. Hari Om.
Any other upcoming classes? Future classes. I am thinking to take this a bit further. Maybe do Manisha Panchakam after this, sometime later, not immediately after, but maybe Manisha Panchakam or some Vedanta Grantha Parokshanubhuti or something like that. Yeah, definitely thinking of doing that. Need to speak to the Vyoma team and Venkat Mahadev. Okay, so that brings us to exactly 7 IST. Yeah, and tomorrow is the last day. It feels like we started yesterday. We're at the end. 5th shloka, and the Phalashruti will also be done tomorrow. And with that, Sadhana Panchakam will be complete. I will let you know. It is one more last question. It is said that unprepared and unqualified we cannot study Vedanta, but it may happen that in Kali Yuga we won't be able to be qualified enough. What do we do? So as I said, when I talked about the qualities of an adhikari, right? So the adhikari is someone that will get the most out of the Shastra. So someone for whom the Shastra will work perfectly. But just because we do not know, we are not perfect, does not mean that it should stop us from trying, right? We can still get samskara, right? Because even in Gita says, he says, Aneka Janma Samsiddha. So working towards perfection takes a long time, not just in this life, but over the course of lives. And just in case we worry that the work done in this life will go to waste, Bhagavan said, that will not be vyartha, right? Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tada gacchati. He will prapya punya kratan loka nushatva shashvati samaha shuchinam shrimatangehe yoga bhrashto bhijayate atha yoginam eva kule bhavati dhimatam etadhya durlabhataram loke janma yadidrisham tatratam buddhi sanyogam labhate purvadehikam yatate cha tato bhuyas samsiddhau kurunandana. Right? So he says, if your sadhana is stopped in the middle and you pass away, you let go of your body, then your sadhana will continue in the next one. So our job is to get as much sadhana done in this life as possible so that the journey forward becomes easier. It's like you're writing an exam, right? Actually, Mahasanidhanam Varu gives an example. So the student looks at the test paper. He knows he will not get he looks at all the questions and he decides that he cannot get 100 out of 100. He is sure that he will not get a perfect score. What does he do? He tries to get as good a score as possible. So in the same way, we may not be, 100 out of 100 perfect, ready to go into sannyasa to study Vedanta more. But that does not mean that we cannot inculcate, lakshanas of the sadhaka. It does not mean that we cannot, try to get vairagya or try to get viveka or try to get shama and dama and uparama and tiksha and shraddha, and that we cannot be mukshus and that we cannot do upasana with drive and we cannot do our karmas with focus and all that we can do. So we are not completely qualified, but neither do we need to be completely unqualified. So it falls to us to do whatever work we can, because it will go whatever distance it will, and nothing will go to waste. Our sadhana will not go to waste. That is what Shastras tells us, that is what our gurus tell us, that is what Bhagavan tells us. So, we should not look for 100% perfection, but to look for whether we are doing it to the best of our abilities and to move forward. Okay, so that is the way to approach that. Okay, I will see you all tomorrow. Karacharana kritam va karma vakkayajam va shravana nayanajam va manasam va paradham vihitam avihitam va sarvam etat kshamasva jaya jaya karunabdhe Shri Mahadeva Shambho. See you all tomorrow for the final class. Ram Ram.